those who are on the website as well. I'd like to connect this presentation with the past year presentation in Chiang Mai. Last year, I presented on the phonology of Kim Mun language in Lampang province of Thailand. Later, it turned out that that speaker was actually came from Hue Sai of Laos. Then this year, we wanted to connect that study with the Kim Mun from Dien Bien Phu. But after COVID, I got some visitors, Kim Mun visitors from Cao Bang in Chiang Mai, and had a conversation and then talked about lots of background information. And it turned out that the one who gave me the data from 20 years ago from Dien Bien Phu had actually been migrated from Cao Bang province. And I compared the data that I got from the Cao Bang person who came to see me in Chiang Mai. I realized that his language and then my data from 20 years ago were very similar. And then it really turned out that actually I was dealing with the same dialect. So may I just switch to or amend the title of this talk is Sketch Phonology of Kim Mun in Cao Bang province in Vietnam. And I'm glad that I could identify the two groups comparing to the presentation last year and supported by the paper written by David Strecker. So this dislocated one family came from Hue Sai, and this data that I got from 20 years ago was actually from Cao Bang. So we have now two groups, and so that's the background. The purpose of this study is to describe the phonology of a Cao Bang variety of Kim Mun. And there are research questions. Does Cao Bang Kim Mun's breathy phonation correspond to Thailand Yu Mien initial aspiration and voicelessness of sonorant consonants? Research question number 2, does feature shuffling exist between Cao Bang Kim Mun breathy phonation and Yu Mien syllable initial aspiration or voicelessness? Number 3, does Cao Bang Kim Mun's creaky tone correspond to Yu Mien's glottalization? And the goal is to determine whether breathiness is phoneme or not. And in order to understand this whole idea of approaching this community is that the native speakers' perception of the phonemes and researchers' scientific explanation do not always match each other. So how do we go about between the two camps? And this is restricted to the synchronic study, so I don't go into the diachronic study. And I was in a very interesting, unexpected way to lead into this contact to the Kim Mun speaker, only one family of Kim Mun speaker in Thailand, as well as to the Kim Mun speakers of Vietnam. And then I was approached to by them that could you please check our designing of our orthography? And I wasn't able to respond to that because I was so much obsessed with the Mien study. So I just declined that 20 years ago. And after the COVID, they visited us in Chiang Mai. So I was rekindled by their enthusiasm. So that is the background of this study. So my data came from 20 years ago, just 200 word list, and occasional contact with the Lampan Kim Mun speakers, and then visitations by the native speakers from Vietnam, and I also visit them. So beside the basic word list, I had collected some sentence patterns and other connected speech as well, but still at the initial stage. So the syllable structure is typical Hmong-Mien type, started with a consonant, maybe or may not be followed by the approximant cluster, and then main part rhyme consists of the vowel and the tone, and maybe end with a consonant. So this is the basic thing. And I found 25 consonants, and the controversial part is the those alveolar affricates. These are evident in the Mien language in Thailand, but in Kim Mun there are. I found that these affricates were absent in Hue Sai, Lambang, Kim Mun. And also, I assume that this could be the case in the Gaoban dialect. But they seem to use both palatal and the alveolar palatal as well. So they can be explained as those can be altered into different forms in the environments. I'm using both slashes and then square brackets because I'm not really confident if they are really phonemically contrastive. So I still put them in the square brackets. So the consonants are like these, and the controversial two units are z and z, and in the Gaoban Kim Mun, this z can be realized as very, very laminal, which almost like a j. And Thailand, this z is very apical, very, very much z type. But when the Gaoban people pronounce this phoneme or a unit, they tend to be drawn into a more palatal position. So in the Hue Sai communication, they can do well with the j and j only, but the Gaoban Kim Mun extended that position to the alveolar part and then used them as the different units. And there is no aspirated p, t, p. Actually, they are all unaspirated, immediately followed by the breathy phonation, like the pai, hua, tong. And they are not pai, they are not tong, they are p plus h. So the initial b is not accompanied with the puffing of the air, but the will follow that. And so this is the characteristic of this language. And final consonants are like these. And there are clusters of liquid approximate blood, glot, bio, and guat. Then there are 6 vowels, and what I am confused still is that the can be used. In their mind, this seems to be a phoneme, but from my observation, can be lowered E or higher A, depending on the environment. So they produced primer listing the alphabets utilizing the Romanized form following the national language. Then they represent this as the combination of A and E. And this is actually, they're imitating the Mien orthography as well. So they may assume that they must have but I didn't find this in Huisai dialect. So monophones and diphthongs, and this time I didn't find the triphthongs because triphthongs can be interpreted as the palatalization cluster. And there are how I became concluded in having 8 tones. I really depend on David Strecker's initial analysis of the Huisai dialect. And approximately the contours are similar to David Strecker's analysis, but slightly different. I didn't show the comparison between my analysis and his analysis, but these are the actively used among the community. Then question number 1: does Kaobang Kim Mun breathy phonation correspond to Thailand Yumian's initial aspiration of voicelessness? I think yes. To be big is Lu, and the Mien is Po. Face is Min, and the Mien goes Mien, Pien. So M and are corresponding each other. So Kaobang Kim Mun breathy phonation corresponds to the initial voicelessness of sonorant consonants in Yumian. And question number 2: does feature shuffling, or a change in the order of phonological features, exist between Kaobang Kim Mun breathy phonation and Yumian's syllable initial aspiration voicelessness? Let's see. So, pai, gua, and Mien goes pai, and pai. Tong and Tung, and Gam, and Jin, Thay, and Zui, Thou, and So. So it seems that the initial aspiration of Yumian corresponds to the breathy phonation in Kim Mun. And the breathy phonation occurs over the vowels, not in the consonant. So the position shuffling is happening. And the question number 3, does Kaobang Kim Mun's creaky tone correspond to human glotalization. I found only very handful example of no and no and ba and ba. And other the lower two example realized in the creaky phonation in the West Side dialect, but not in Gaobang dialect. They produced this primer, and it seems that there are redundancy and there are irregularity, and the native speaker's perspective is reflected in the booklet. Breathy phonation is perceived as a part of a consonant, not as occurring with the vowel. So when they express nyo by ny, they try to express the breathy phonation as h, and there are cases and irregularities of putting h before and after this nyo unit. And they are not really sensitively or accurately, rigidly strict to the identify the rising tone, like and are considered as the same. And there is a vast range of a variety in the falling tone of and can be summarized in their mind as one. So those things are sometimes expressed and sometimes not. So there are irregularity of the description in their script. Seems that there is an over differentiation by using a series of alveolar consonants. So to the two questions, we could answer by affirmative. And the question number 3 is not really clear from this data. And the general tendency of the community is that they are highly conscious of the phonation types. And on the other hand, they are not really conscious of the correlation between the phonation type and the tones. And they don't have any functional way of describing this. But their primers are working all right from their perspective. So what do we do about this? Sapir says that the phonemes is the psychological entity in the hearts of the speakers. But if we follow the Trubetskoy or the Saussure, phonemes are purely functional tools to distinguish meanings. Right, we need to go from both sides and find a way to compromise between the outsider's observation and the insider's perception of themselves. So I'd like to express my thanks to primary source of the data, Mr. Tang and Mr. Lei, and helped me in collecting the data was Jen En and Gerald Edmondson over 25 years ago. When he saw me studying Mian, he gave me a stick driver and then stick his driver into my computer to copy all the recordings that he made from the Vietnam and China border onto my computer so generously. So I'd like to give thanks to him. And then Herbert Cornell gave me handwritten field notebooks of the Kim Mun study in Vietnam. I want to express my gratitude to these people. Thank you very much for your attention.